Hi, my name is Reginald. I'm originally from Chicago, but lived the last 15 years in Miami. I started learning about Panama in, I think, about December 2018. And I was considering leaving the United States and finding a place where I could live, which was less expensive than the United States on my retirement. And I started seeing things on YouTube and Facebook about Panama Relocation Tour. And I'm like, that sounds nice. So I booked the tour, and the first time I came to Panama was in June 2019. And it was nice, I enjoyed it and everything. The third day, Jackie looked at me and said, Boquete, and I was like, what's she talking about? And I really enjoyed the trip. I loved the hotels we stayed in, all the different parts of the country we got to see, and the different climates and things like that. It was really nice, and I'm like, I think I can do this. I came back in August 2019, yeah, and wanted to check it out a little more and everything. And by that time, after being here 2 weeks in Boquete, I said I could do this. And so I came down permanently October 2019, and it's just been a joy. It takes some getting used to, but I love it here. I have no regrets. And I think that's the most important thing, is that you have to be able to change and adjust your mentality and realize that this is not North America, that this is a developing country, and you got to work with it. And for me, I've never been happier, and I'm saving money. Now I live in Boquete, Cherokee Province, and I love it here. It took some adjusting for me because of the weather change, being from Miami where it's really hot, and which was killing me. I mean, it was really hot there. And I came here and it was like nice and cool. I live in a hotel and it has 3 stories, so when I go on the top floor in the patio, it's a little cold, but I walk 3 stories down and off comes the jacket and everything. And now that I've been here for almost a year, my body has adjusted to it. So I really don't put on a coat, and I keep my patio door open at night for the nice cool air to come in and everything. And Boquete is really beautiful. And the people here are so friendly. You know, if you act friendly, they'll act the same way towards you, you know. And I walk around. I don't drive. I've never driven except when I was in the Army, but excuse me. I don't drive, so I'll walk everywhere. I'll take a cab, which is really inexpensive here. I'm just so surprised. And once a month, I go to David. At first, I was taking a cab because I was, you know, being an American or a United States citizen, I was kind of hesitant. And I was spending $35, $40 taking a cab back and forth. And I'm like, I kept hearing about the buses, and I finally got the nerve enough to start taking the buses. I think it was $2.50 and everything from Boquete to David. And I loved it. It was very nice. It was more than what I expected and everything. And the bus lets you off right in downtown, and I walk to my hotel and spend 2 or 3 days there. Before I decided to move to Panama, I checked out a couple of other places like Belize, you know, Costa Rica, and but Panama had so many different things to offer that I really enjoyed. One of the main things was the use of the dollar. That was really helpful. The other thing is just the people in the country itself seem to be much more friendlier. Not knocking these other places, but it just seemed to be much more friendlier here, acceptable to what I was expecting. And to be honest with you, I never felt like I didn't belong. I felt like after my second trip that this was home, and I felt comfortable enough to saying, this is where I want to live. This is where I want to spend my retirement at, I could have stayed in the States and everything, but most people I know that have retired in the States are working part-time jobs. And I don't want to work anymore. I'm 70 years old. I've been working since I'm 14. Why would I want to retire and then have to take a part-time job? And the economy here is good enough that I can live a good life, you know, and don't have to worry about if I'm going to have money at the end of the month. I think one of the best experience I've had since moving to Panama has been the people. And by saying that, I mean how helpful that the people in Boquete has been. And I'm not just talking about the Panamanians, but the expats also. If you don't know something, people have no problem telling you or trying to guide you in what to do and stuff like that. And even though I don't speak Spanish, I try to speak as much as I possibly can, and found out that when at least you're trying to speak the language, people are more helpful in everything. Going to the stores and trying to explain at the store what I'm looking for and trying to little my Spanish and their English and stuff like that, we're able to solve and find out what I'm looking for and everything and stuff. So it's a learning experience, and to me, life is learning. And I've learned since moving to Panama that I can live in a foreign country and I can be happy. And I don't need all the things that you may have back in the States. I mean, there are some things that you have to get used to. It's like the power outages, but they don't last long. They really don't last long. I may have had, since I've been here since October, maybe 1 or 2 times that it lasts a half a day. But usually it's 10 or 15 minutes. I have my phone plugged in. I just go and play my games and stuff like that during that time, and I look up and the lights are back on and things like that. So it's not that hard to adjust, but you just have to be willing to adjust. Yes, there's insects and things like that, but it's nothing that you wouldn't find if you, especially if you know Florida, that you wouldn't find in the States and stuff like that. So my main thing, if you're thinking about moving, just think to readjusting yourself and realize that this is not North America, but you can be just as happy here, if not more here, than if you are in North America. And that's what I think life is about, is experiencing things and enjoying your life. And again, at 70, I love it here. And I'm a railroader. I retired from Amtrak 15 years. My route was from Miami to New York. When I learned about Panama when I came here, I was really concerned about having my pension last so that I wouldn't have to be worried about, the expenses and things like that. When I first got here, being a little scared and everything, I went to all the North American places, all the fancy restaurants and everything like that. And I was looking, I was like, this is not going as well as I expected. Because I was doing all the North American stuff, buying all the North American products and things like that. And one day I decided to go into this supermarket. And it was an indigenous supermarket where most of the indigenous people would go into. And I swallowed and went in there. And I'm like, oh, how? I can buy this for this here and I can buy this. It was a lot cheaper. And it's the same product, not the same brand name as you may have back in North America, but it's the same products, and it was a lot cheaper. And since I learned how to do that, I have saved a lot more money than I thought possible. Every time I go and look at my bank account, I have to shake my head and wonder if the bank made a mistake because of the money that I've been able to keep in my bank account. That cushion, that security that I don't think I would have in the States, I have here. And I'm not missing out on anything when it comes to food and stuff like that. I know if I go to a place called like Super Baru and there's an American product, and I want to spend that extra money, I'll go ahead and get it. One thing you need to know, if you see an American product, you better get it because it's not going to be there too long and stuff like that. But I learned to go into the Panamanian restaurants and things like that and eat. And, you know, the most important thing that if you retire, you want to save money. And like I said, I don't believe my bank account when I look at it and do a withdrawal, because it's like, damn, I am saving money. And I'm not afraid now that I'm going to overspend, because I learned how to shop, how to eat out, where to go. And I'm honestly telling you, if you do it the right way, you will have a good cushion in your retirement. And being an older or senior citizen, you know, I have concern about the health care here. I haven't brought insurance yet. I'm looking into doing that now. But from other people I've talked to and everything, it seems very reasonable. And being a veteran, you know, I found out that I could go to the veteran hospital in Panama City once I signed up for it. But the health costs here, from what I've been seeing, is a lot cheaper. And I know people are afraid that you won't find an English-speaking doctor here and stuff like that, but you do. You know, you got to do your research. You go online, people will tell you what doctors that they have used and things like that. And that's the good thing about expats in Panama here. You get all type of information about health care and where to go and stuff like that. And so I'm not really worried about getting sick here, but I am looking at doing the health care in case anything happened. Being 70, I definitely need to do that. But from what I've seen, it's very reasonable. And like I said, with the money I'm saving, I'm able to do that and buy the insurance and not worry. You know, you hear all different types of stories about would you be safe in Panama, or particularly Boquete and things like that. And I voiced the concern, not because I really knew anything, but just by listening to other people. I feel totally safe here. You know, I don't worry about getting robbed or my place being broken into. Not that it couldn't happen, but I don't concern myself about that because it's a rarity here. Compared to the United States, it's definitely a rarity here. And people look out for you and stuff like that. Again, if you just try to communicate with the people, give a smile or a nod and things like that, you'd be surprised what you get. You know, I've been living in my neighborhood over 7 months. And when I first moved there, people were like, oh, gringo, stuff like that. But once they saw that I was staying and everything, I get these waves and things like that, and people watch out for you. When it comes to safety, again, this is not North America, so when you walk in the streets, you're going to find places that don't have sidewalks. So you have to be careful, you know. I go out when I first got here, I was scared to go out at night, not because of robberies or anything like that. I just didn't know the area. But once I took that big swallow and started going out at night and everything, and I knew where stuff was, so I didn't have to worry about getting lost. It was nice. I didn't have any concern. I didn't have to, you know, look behind me if somebody's coming up and things like that. I feel very secure here. I don't worry about getting robbed or anything like that, or people breaking in. But if you go around, just like in the States, if you go around with all the gold, diamonds and everything like that, and flash you got money and stuff like that, something may happen to you know. But I don't worry about things like that here. You know, I personally have not met anyone that has been robbed or mugged or raped or anything like that. You know, so I feel very secure and safe here. You know, definitely I wouldn't move here if I didn't feel that way. I have several places that I love to go to here in Boquete. One is Boquete Sandwich Shop, which is owned by an American and a Panamanian. And it's like being at home. It's like being at home. The food is delicious. The wait staff is wonderful. It's just, I go there every other day, in fact, and everything. And I always order two of the same thing, which is their Cobb salad or their barbecue string pork sandwich. The other place is Big Daddy's. And Big Daddy has a outdoor patio in the front, you know, three tables. And I like that because it's right on the main street and I get to see everybody go back and forth. Then they have the garden in the back, you know, and that's where a lot of expats go into and stuff and hang out. But I love the front part. You know, I love just sitting there and watching people. And the other thing about Boquete is the people from all over the world that come here. It's just so amazing for such a small town. Just people from all over the world and everything. And it's, you know, that's the other reason why I like that, so I can sit there and watch the South Africans or the Swedish or the Russians and stuff like that. It's amazing here. And I wish I could be able to take from what I feel about Boquete and really share that with you physically, how much I love it here and stuff. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this video, because I want people to know that you can have a good life outside the United States, you know. But again, you got to be willing to adjust and not to be afraid to take that step, especially if you're retirement age. You know, this is your chance to make that move, you know. If you got family back home, say, I love you, dear, and blah, 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 and all that and everything, you know, but you got your phones, you got Facebook, you have just so many things that you still can keep in contact with your friends and family back home. But if you're looking for a place that is safe, where your money will go further, Panama is definitely the place to go. And then the most important thing again is they accept the dollar. If you're really considering about moving here to Panama, I would just like to say that be prepared to be adjustable. If you're not going to be able to adjust yourself to a new living condition, then there's no need to be here. But if you are the type of person that can deal with different situations and everything, you'll have a great life here and a lot less stress. You know, and I think that's the most important, especially for people in the retirement age. You don't want that stress on you. And you have to be able to change. And what I mean by change, be able to accept the condition that you're living in and know that you can overcome any little situation that pops up. Like I said, you know, the electricity go out once in a while. No biggie. You know, just keep your stuff plugged in and everything like that and continue with your business. You know, go out and walk. I walk everywhere. You know, when I was back in the state, I walked 2 blocks. I had to wait until I find the next bus stop so I could sit my butt down. You know, here I walk everywhere. You know, and again, visually it's so beautiful here. And I can't tell you that, like I said earlier, if I was able to take from what I'm feeling inside about living in Panama and actually give it to you, you will want to move here. You know, it's just, I would never thought I would leave the United States. And I came here and I've never been happier. And I think for my age of, again, 70, it's just a wonderful place to be. You know, I'm not scared. You know, I don't worry. And again, like I said, my money is doing much better here than if it was in the United States. And I think that's a big plus, you know. And I hope that you will consider coming here and living in a wonderful country like Panama. And you'll be so surprised what you as an individual can do. and what you can find to be acceptable. There's people that have been here 10 and 12 years. There's people like me that's been here 6 months. And there's a lot to do here. There's a lot to do here. It's a small town, but there's always things going on. My advice to you, look into it. Take that tour, the Panama Relocation Tour. I'm telling you, it is all worth it. And Jackie tells you the good and the bad. So when the bad things happen here, I wasn't shocked because I would go say, okay, Jackie, tell me about this. So she doesn't try to hide things from you. She tells you the good and bad. So when the bad things that you're not expecting happens, you say, Jackie told me about this. So you know what to do. You know, as nothing is like a really big surprise. And like I said, the Panama Relocation Tour goes throughout the country. And the nice hotels you stay in, and the food that you get to eat and everything, and the expats that you get to meet and everything. It's a wonderful tour, and I hope that you take it. But most of all, I hope you move to Panama and be a good expat, or as I like to say, immigrant.